Hey guys, it's Jade. So I wanted to talk about this because this whole thing had the internet going bonkers the past like few days or whatever, or maybe like last week. I don't remember when this originally started, but I heard about this whole BTS Outcast thing, and it's a fan fiction. But I'm not really huge on actually reading fan fiction because I have a short ass attention span. So if shit don't grab my attention in at least the first chapter or two, I'm not reading it. It's like I don't like shit with a slow start, so it's like, yeah, nah, I can't fuck with it. I like shit. I usually like reading like one shots because it's just straight to the fucking point. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, I heard about it, and then there's people I follow on YouTube that was making stories about it, like Cameron Phillip and Terry TV, and I think some other YouTuber that I follow was doing it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so I heard so much, so I watched like half of Cameron Phillips' first video about it, and I know people gonna judge me that I subscribe to him. Don't judge me, but yeah, I was watching it and I'm saying like, what the fuck is going on? And so I was on the phone with Alex on Monday, and I told him about it, and then we was like, alright, we gonna read it. I was like, alright. So we found it on Twitter, and we was going through it. Now, how it is, like, it's some shit I've never seen before. Like, basically, the person on Twitter, her name is Flirthouse. So I think I pronounced it right. I probably pronounced it wrong, but it's Flirt, and then it's like AUS on Twitter, right? So it's like images, like the story is not like written out like how a normal fan fiction would be written. Like normal fan fiction, normally people write it either in script or like novel, like kind of like a novel or whatever. It's kind of like that, right? But how she did it, she kind of did it in like form of like an iPhone message basically. So it's like going through kind of like an iPhone text message or whatever, and that's how the story goes. So it's like basically, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because this shit was dumb long, but it was in two parts because she had to break it up because it was like pretty long. But basically, kind of like the premise of the story is J-Hope and Yoongi are, they're friends or whatever, and they come across this game. And so it's this game. So basically how you get the game is you download it. I think you download it on your computer, and then it's also connected to your phone. So you don't actually play it on your computer, you're actually controlling it from your phone, and it's all through text. So like you text the actions, and it's all like accept, decline, and things like that. And then also before that, it was like some story about Jimin being missing, and then just so happened they was in the game, and then it kind of goes from there. Like, so J-Hope and Yoongi are going through the game, and then just a lot of weird shit happens, and it gets bananas from there. Like I said, it's way too long to explain every single thing of the story, but it was still like the craziest shit I've ever read. And I'm like, so Alex is reading it, and we just like going through it together, and I'm just sitting here like, yo, we trying to figure out like what's going on, this, that, and the third. We sitting here like, yo, what the fuck? Like reading this whole long ass story. And at one point my phone, like my internet was fucking up. So while he was reading it, his voice was getting distorted, and then at one point my fucking phone went off. I had a notification. I literally got so scared because I'm like really into this story, and all of a sudden I get a fucking notification from Instagram. I almost had a fucking stroke. Like, oh my god, that was so scary. But like I said, I don't really read them types of fan fiction. I don't read like horror fan fictions. I don't really read fan fictions that has to do with like a lot of violence. I'm just not really into that. Like I'm not really deep into like fan fiction like I used to. Like back in the day, like I had been reading fan fiction since I was like 12 years old. So from like 12 to like maybe a couple years ago, I've been reading fan fiction for so many years, but I just kind of just chilled on it because I was just like, I'm really into that shit no more, whatever the fuck. But it was just crazy, like that whole story, and it's like everyone on like everyone was just going off about this whole story, and it was really, really good. So I'm gonna put a link to the actual stories. Like I said, it's in two parts. So I'm gonna put a link to the first part, and I'm gonna put a link to the second part. So it's on Twitter. So I think you can go through if you don't have a Twitter, but it's kind of like it's putting like those moment things on Twitter. So you kind of just gotta just scroll through whatever. It's pretty easy to kind of like navigate. So it's nothing like too complicated. Just kind of just go along or whatever. But the story is really good. So I mean, if you aren't really into horror, it's honestly not really scary, because it's not really like it's not really scary, honestly. To me, it's not, because see, horror doesn't bother me because, listen, if I can sit through all 7 fucking Saw movies, I can read a goddamn BTS horror fan fiction. But I know some people aren't really into violent things and like scary stuff like that. So if you're not into those type of things, I wouldn't suggest reading it. But if that's more your steez, definitely check this out, because this shit was crazy as hell. Like, there's so many people making, like, not even just on Twitter talking about it, or like social media like Twitter and Instagram and fucking Tumblr and shit, but people are even making YouTube videos kind of reading along with it. Like, people I follow, people I don't follow, or making like videos, you know, going through the story. And then I'm on Tumblr, and then like the artwork that people have done is fucking incredible. Like, people making like mock web page, you know, layouts and shit. And like, there's even like a fucking video on YouTube where it's like someone made like a fake like simulate. Bruh, that shit was so lit. Like, I swear to God, these K-pop fans these days are so fucking creative. It's not even funny. But it's definitely a lot of people been talking about this shit. So like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really think you don't necessarily really have to be a fan of BTS, honestly, to read this, because it's mostly just based. The only characters that's kind of like communicating in this is J-Hope and Yoongi. Like, you don't really, there's no dialogue really between like Namjoon and, you know, Cookie and Jimin and, you know, Taehyun and stuff like that. Only in the end, there's like kind of like some dialogue between Jin and Jimin, but that's it. So it's not like, you know, there's dialogue between all the members. But like I said, if you're into this type of shit, I would definitely check it out. Like I said, the whole internet was going crazy over this shit, yo. It's fucking crazy, but it's a really good story. So I don't know. I follow her on Twitter now, so she said she wasn't really gonna do anything right now, like another one. But I definitely look forward to something else that she decides to do, because those were really definitely creative, and I bet you it took a lot of time to put this together, like to put this whole story, first of all, write out this whole story, and then transform it into like as if it was text messages. That's a lot of work. So I definitely give her a lot of credit, you know, doing it. And the fact that it was like it had been trending at some point, but a lot of people was talking about this. So yeah, shout out to her. Like I said, I'm going to put the link to both parts down below. And it's also kind of giving me vibes of like Five Nights at Freddy's, because it's going by nights. You know, if you ever watch someone play, or if you played yourself Five Nights at Freddy's, it goes by like nights and things like that. But yeah, you'll get, if you read it, you'll get more of the story. And it's actually pretty easy to follow, so it's not really like too convoluted, honestly. But yeah, I definitely think people should definitely check this out. So yeah, that's basically it. So like, again, I'm gonna put a link down below for both parts, and I hope you guys, if you do decide to read it, I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.